Bingham versus Max Paustian. So far, a lot of black-green in win-ins. None of it actually locked for the top 8 yet.
It's a deck that was pretty much dominant in week 1. You know, it made it 3 of the top 4 decks were some variation of black-green, but it has some exploitable weaknesses. I expect that we'll continue to see it, but people have gotten a lot about it figured out already. Fatal Push has been excellent against this deck all weekend.
Yeah, Fatal Push, I mean, definitely right. Early on, we've seen it, a lot of decks trying to be low to the ground, and just the combination of Grasp of Darkness and Fatal Push, whether it's coming out of black-green Delirium or coming out of, say, a blue-black control deck, it's looked very strong.
Yeah, we've seen some copies of that in the black-red aggressive deck. It's quite good at slowing these other decks down.
So 6 players looks like trying to take a draw into top 8, 5 of them in. Bradley Shepard, Dylan Donegan, Luke Feeney, Corey Lynch, and Todd Anderson almost certainly into top 8 right now. We have 2 matches which are for sure win-ins. William Bingham's match here. On their table we have Zan Sayed's match. So black Teamer Eldrazi and red-black Zombies trying to knock it into the top 8.
Yeah, potential for some pretty sweet decks to crack it.
6 cards apiece here. Both players taking a mulligan to start. And it looks like that'll be the score. 6 cards apiece. So, because Teamer Eldrazi is so good against removal, I would think that the black-green Delirium, Max is looking for his creatures more than he's looking for his kill spells.
Yeah, he wants to exploit his synergies. He really wants to cast Verdurous Gearhulks as quickly as possible.
Trading of some creature lands to start. Yeah, Bingham's deck's been interesting in that I was going to say it rarely has early creatures as he plays Metallic Mimic. His early plays are the Mimic, Shocks, and Harness Lightnings. His deck really starts on 3 mana.
Show me an Eldrazi Sky Spawner.
We haven't seen it yet. It looks pretty good. Mimic swings for 2. So he chose Eldrazi as his creature type, which means first of all, Mimic's an Eldrazi. All his Eldrazi get a 1/1 counter.
So I think he has Sky Spawner, but no land.
So he plays another Mimic, naming Eldrazi, which means it's an Eldrazi, which means it gets a 1/1 counter. And then Maxwell does Grasp of Darkness it. Yeah, he does. He has Shock, Sky Spawner. Looks like even Rogue Refiner. That 3rd land will be really good, though William did miss it once.
And Maxwell has plenty of lands here.
That's one of the difficulties though with Mimic. Right now, there's just a lot of Grasps and Fatal Pushes floating around. You see Max walking Ballista and an Evolving Wilds. I don't think you're going to get to see your play yet, Ryan.
No.
Mimic attacks. And a block for a trade. It's fine by William. He picked up Harnessed Lightning for the turn, but no more lands yet. So Max is pulling away on resources.
And I like that Maxwell just blocks there. Because if you just shoot them, what if Bingham is playing Blossoming Defense?
Yeah.
You just get,
You get got by. There's no reason not to block.
Yep.
Remember, both plays on mulligans to 6, so some speculative hands. It's not a foregone conclusion here that Maxwell has a follow-up play. You know, if he's sitting on all lands, it's a dangerous spot.
Does have Delirium online with instant artifact creature land.
Okay, Mindwreck Demons, that seems pretty good. Yeah. That will enable his Delirium. So 4/5. No energy in the reserves for Bingham, so Harness Lightning's not going to be able to take down the 4/5 just yet.
Bingham hunting for a 3rd land.
And there we go, Spire Bluff Canal. And he's going to double kill spell, Shock and Harness Lightning. It's a big price, but he gets the demon off the table. I said before, there's not that much action on Maxwell's hand. He's a little land heavy, and if that's the case, William might be fine. Oh, he does. So Max does get to reload a card like Traverse the Open Vault.
Yep, given that he already has Delirium, that means he has a higher density of relevant cards in his deck.
Looks like he's going for another Mind Rack Demon.
Well, if Bingham just 2-for-1 himself to solve the first one.
Yeah, this one's great. Looks like he's going to go.
Here comes the demon.
Yeah, another 4/5, milling 4 more. And go back over to William Bingham. He does have a copy of Rogue Refiner. I know that's a card you've been pretty high on right now in the format. It's been looking very strong in Bingham's deck.
A lot of the decks in the format are really heavy on 1-for-1 removal spells, which Rogue Refiner, sure, it dies to a lot of them, but it replaces itself. The energy is also of a lot of value in many of these decks because they're frequently playing 4 Ether Hubs.
Eldrazi Sky Spawner's the play for Bingham. Brings a Scion along.
Not to mention pumping your potential Harness Lightning.
And a great pickup for Maxwell. Looks like he has a copy of Verdurous Gearhulk now in the hand. And yeah, he'll play that one. The Temur Eldrazi deck, it seems like it may have a lot of difficulty, you see, as he makes a 7/8 flyer. Its removal is all damage based. So a 7/8, I'm not certain how William deals with that.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
You look at his removal, Shock, Harness Lightning. I mean, I guess Harness Lightning? That's, ugh.
Gonna need to make some energy first. He can steal games by chaining Elder Deep Fiends. That is one of the strengths of his deck.
Yeah, remember that from Old Standard. Those decks were always, you know, if you have enough of them, especially with cards like Sanctum of Ugin, sure, that could happen. 4 Sanctum of Ugins in William's deck, so
2 on the battlefield.
yeah, wouldn't be surprised if he's winning a few games that way. He's going to swing with Sky Spawner, cast Rogue Refiner. If he sacks Scion and a creature, he could emerge a Wretched Gryff here, but I'm not sure that gets him anywhere. I guess it gets a Deep Fiend into his hand, but that's about it.
Yeah, the Wretched Gryff doesn't make significant blocks on the following turn.
That is going to be the play, though. Sacrifices the Scion for mana, the Sky Spawner for Emerge, and the Sanctum of Ugin to the trigger to cast Wretched Gryff, finding Elder Deep Fiend. So it looks like he's going to attempt to, as you said, steal a game by chaining Deep Fiends. But he's starting from he's very far behind to start this kind of play.
Yes.
It is 13 power on Maxwell's side of the board. So this line that William's doing starts with a chump block.
Some really great games start with a chump block. I'm just throwing that out there. It is a precarious situation for Bingham, though.
Yeah, and I suppose if Maxwell wants to make a lethal swing, he would have to add a Hissing Quagmire to the attack. Traverse from Maxwell.
How about adding a Verdurous Gearhulk?
Yeah, another green Gearhulk. Sounds great. Yeah. Let's add 4 more power to the attack. Let's just not even let an attack happen.
Yeah, well, if you
let's shuffle these cards.
If Bingham has to chump block with both creatures, he suddenly has no ability to emerge Elder Deep Fiend.
Yeah, that will be game. And Max Paustian, the 6-card battle. Both players on a mulligan. He emerges victorious. So we look over at the sideboards. So I'm going to start with William Bingham. He's in a hole playing Temur Eldrazi. Barrel's Expertise, Incendiary Flow, Natural State, Negate, and Unsubstantiate are 2 ofs in his deck. And then he has some Go Big plans, which we've seen him use against these black-green decks. Chandra, Jace, Sky Sovereign, Worldbreaker.
Yep. We saw him in a game where his opponent brought in a bunch of Planeswalkers, and the Sky Sovereign cleaned up very well there. So that card is really good. That's what you're expecting. The Planeswalkers are quite good as well. I really like Barrel's Expertise here. A combo that he has access to, you know, Maxwell's casting a lot of large creatures. You can Barrel's Expertise and then cast Thought-Knot Seer off of it, and then take one of their sweet cards out of their hand.
So that's the 5 mana. It bounces 3 cards, and he gets a 4 mana spell for free.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, especially his deck is one that has quality 4s, like Thought-Knot Seer. On Maxwell's side of the board, he's got a full 4 copies of Transgress the Mind. That's something we don't see too much out of the Delirium deck, but I have to think that's very good against a deck that's all large cards.
Yes.
Anything else? I think all 4 come in, but anything else you like here?
I like Kalidas a decent amount. Just the potential to have a race. You can exile things. He didn't see a Matter Reshaper in that game, but
yeah,
that's an interaction that you can take advantage of.
If you see something like Eldrazi's Sky Spawner, it's a good bet there's a Matter Reshaper in the deck, or Wretched Griff, right?
Nissa Voice of Zendikar is solid in matchups like this, where there's a lot of large creatures going back and forth. There's some argument for Lost Legacy naming Elder Deep Fiend.
All right.
It's
yeah, that's the way he steals games. Take that.
Exactly.
I want to talk about this card, and we haven't seen much of this. Rishkar's Expertise. So this is the green Expertise card. It is 6 mana, draw cards equal to the power of the largest creature you control, and then play a 5 mana card for free. So you draw, if you can do it with something you can play, you just like draw 6, drop a Gear Hulk, or something really stupid.
Yeah, Bingham demonstrated that it's difficult for him to deal with a large toughness creature throwing shock and harness lightning at a Mind Rack demon. That suggests that Rishkar's Expertise could be quite powerful in this matchup.
Yeah, I kind of like it here. So in a Delirium Mirror, you can't maybe play that because your creatures die too frequently, but I don't know that that's true here. And if he resolves 1 Rishkar's Expertise, I don't know that William can come back from that.
Yeah, if you're able to draw a lot of cards and say cast a Verdurous Gear Hulk at the end of it.
I also just want to see someone play that card. You know, I want to see the Gear Hulk be an 8/8. Then I want to see him draw 8, make Gear Hulk a 12/12 and swing. That sounds great.
That would be a good turn.
Players gonna get ready for a second game. Remember, this is the first of our 2 win-ins both going on. When we do have the top 8, though, for those of you watching us on twitch.tv, you can join the SCG Tour over in the feature match area. We do our Twitch subscription program, which means when we go off air here after the last round, we will, in a half hour, we'll announce our top 8 on the stream, and for 15 minutes, there will be voting for anyone who's subscribed as to what players and what matches you want to see on coverage. You can subscribe now and be ready and join in on the voting just shortly. $4.99 a month. You also get custom emoticons and badges.
Yeah, potentially some pretty sweet decks in the top 8. Make sure you watch the one that you want to watch.
We do know we have 2 Jeskai pilots in the top 8. Looks like Todd Anderson's going to be in with black-green. I want to see the matchup, I'm going to say here, between Bradley Shepard and Dylan Donegan.
Yes.
It's the 2 Saheeli players, I think the most impressive Jeskai players on the weekend that we've seen. And I would love to see that square off.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing Temur Eldrazi or Black Red Zombies either. Zan Sayed in our other win-in. He's playing Black Red. Both Zan and Bingham 8-1 yesterday. 3-2 today for each player.
Both taking approaches off the beaten path and both potentially in the top 8 here.
Yeah. It's interesting when you watch the development of a standard that Black, Green, and Jeskai, we're seeing a lot of them because I think going into this format after the bannings and the set release, these are the 2 decks you could count on to be good. You know, Jeskai Saheeli they just printed this great combo. There's no way this isn't good, and this is the obvious build of it too. Black-Green, Black-Green's always been great, and you know, the Delirium, it didn't lose much. It's got, those decks were, you could count on them to be good. What is exciting is they're probably not the only good decks, and watching kind of the format figure out what the other ones are. We're seeing some of it this week. Some tries last week. I imagine next week at the Pro Tour we'll see even more.
Yes. There's a lot of very powerful cards in Standard currently.
Right. You know, Gideon is a great card that no one's playing. I'm not convinced there's not a good Gideon deck.
We really haven't seen Aetherworks Marvel since Emrakul was banned.
Right. And certainly that's a knock on the card. I mean, you probably have to play, I don't know, more Ulamogs or find something else that chains for value. But it could exist. Maybe we can find something in the Eldrazi. William Bingham certainly is trying it this weekend. So for game number 2, there's no Mimics this time for William. Starts off on Botanical Sanctum and Wastes, meaning he has all 3 of his 4 colors set up.
Please report to the scorekeeper station.
And we'll see the hand Transgress the Mind will show us what we're working with. It is no 3rd land for Bingham. That's danger. But here's what he does have. Matter Reshaper on 3, so he's got some plays. World Breaker, Elder Deep Fiend, Thought Not Seer, and then he does have Barrel's Expertise. So he needs that third land, but once he has it, things are okay.
Yeah, he can start casting Matter Reshapers. For Maxwell, given that there's 2 Matter Reshapers, he can't just turn this hand off with the 1 Transgress.
Does he even bother taking the Matter Reshapers? Yeah, he'll go for Thought Not Seer.
Yeah, given that there's 2 copies, it's not the most exciting pick.
So Thought Not Seer exiled. Big draw step here for William.
Matter Reshaper is the sort of card that the Black-Green Delirium deck can just present a larger body than at some point in the game and not really care about the value, whereas Thought Not Seer will always take a card.
Second game in a row, Williams, 2 land arrows on the play, not converting. Some bad luck for him. And now Maxwell will make the most of it. Rishkar on 3. And William, only 1 turn delayed. He hits a land, and that's just a very good one. It's his basic mountain. That's the color he was missing.
Yep, all of his colors are online.
So casts Matter Reshaper, the first of 2. Glad to see he hit the land. His deck's pretty neat, and I don't think he could have stomached missing again.
Right.
We'll see another Transgress. Well, same hand before. It's added a Sky Sovereign since we last looked at it. And Maxwell, he's going for the not letting you play Magic line. He takes the other Matter Reshaper. That can be danger though, right? Because if the board is even here, and by taking the low impact cards, he's giving Maxwell the chance to just draw lands.
Well, the scariest card in the hand is likely Elder Deep Fiend. Bingham does need to draw specifically a blue source to be able to emerge that one.
But when he does, he gets a 5/6. Matter Reshaper could hit a land. He can maybe eat an attacker. There's a lot of good stuff going on.
Right.
Yeah, I guess I was a little surprised we didn't just see Deep Fiend, but William misses the land for a turn here, so big opportunity for Maxwell.
And, it does make sense just to take the only castable spell as well.
You see this here with the mana. Maxwell's only play here is on Noxious Gearhulk, and now he's kind of deciding if he wants to do that. Like, don't take a Matter Reshaper, then yeah, he's pretty committed to this mana denial. William with a draw. It is a land. It's Sanctum of Ugin.
Yeah, but Maxwell's first Transgress did take Thought Not Seer, so no action on 4 here.
Yeah, William's hand is Sky Sovereign, World Breaker, Elder Deep Fiend, Barrel's Expertise. None of those actually, he needs a 5th land before he can play anything.
Maxwell looks like he's pretty heavy on lands. I believe 2 Evolving Wilds in the hand.
Yeah, this is a danger, right? So we're 1 land away from this being fine. William hits the land, the Sky Sovereign shoots down the Rishkar, and this is good.
Yeah.
I don't think Maxwell wants to get into a slugfest with this deck, where both players just start jamming 5-drops at each other. Maxwell will swing with Rishkar, block, trade. I want to say I do like that attack from Maxwell, especially when you're looking at Sky Sovereign possibly happening.
The Sky Sovereign would just kill the Rishkar. It's also true that until Bingham can produce another creature, he needs to find blue source and now another creature to sacrifice to Elder Deep Fiend to cast that.
Unsubstantiate. William got the Unsubstantiate off of
Matter Reshaper.
Off of Matter Reshaper, and he does that to put the spell back into his hand. No Mind Rack Demon. Draws, and he has to pass again though. Misses the land. He had 2 shots at it.
Well, now the Rishkar's off the table, Sky Sovereign is less significant.
It is less significant, and in a lot of ways, right? He doesn't have the Matter Reshaper now either, which means he can't. It's worse. So, World Breaker. William's hand is Sky Sovereign, World Breaker, Elder Deep Fiend, Barrel's Expertise. Like a 5th land doesn't even really fix things. It's a mess.
Right.
Mind Rack Demon from Maxwell. He's going to try it again. Had it unsubstantiated last turn. Now both players are at 20, so we're still in this range where William could start chaining some some lands, and it might be fine. He's got life points to work with. Maxwell's not, if
Sorcery land creature, the card types
are you
in
kidding?
Maxwell's graveyard.
I don't think we've seen any player all weekend take damage off a Mind Rack Demon, and certainly not when they have like 20 cards in their graveyard.
Yeah, somehow still off Delirium.
Matter shape of the play from William Bingham. It will be hit by Grasp of Darkness.
That'll
Does that
fix
mean,
that.
Oh, no.
That'll fix that.
It does put Evolving Wilds into play for William, though. So at long last, he gets that land.
If he's able to cast and start crewing Sky Sovereign, that alleviates the Mind Rack Demon problem.
I mean, once we get to 7 lands, I know that's how the game's going for William. Once he gets to 7 lands, World Breaker looks really good here.
Yeah. Does some good blocking.
Yeah. So because of that Grasp of Darkness, Maxwell's not going to take damage. So we're still not going to see that trigger today.
Right.
There's not yet. I kind of forget there's even a drawback on Mind Rack Demon.
It just comes up so seldom.
It's just a 4/5 for 5.
Yeah.
Flyer and trample. It's a good card. But Maxwell's still showing that he's light on interaction. Activates Hissing Quagmire, swings for 6. It's actually his first damage of the game.
It's going to take Bingham a little bit of time to be able to interact with this demon, though.
Draw still not a land. Nope. He's got, and when he has Barrel's Expertise this turn. He could Rogue Refiner, or he could Expertise into Rogue Refiner. He'll just play the 3/2. Which I guess I'm a little surprised. I thought he might, I don't know.
Saving the Expertise for a higher impact turn, I suppose.
We're never going to play that card. Once we like to the slaughter, the play by Maxwell. So there goes Rogue Refiner. Deep Fiend, Wretched Griff. Oh, this is just it's a mess.
Walking Ballista, the pickup for Maxwell. That's going to change the pace of this game a lot.
Yeah, and I don't know that William can do this in time, as we see a 3/3 Walking Ballista. Deep Fiend, Wretched Griff. Sky Sovereign, World Breaker, Expertise. This is like, I keep saying, it's just it's a mess. Plays the Winding Constrictor and the Walking Ballista. This is going to force, I think, the hand on Barrel's Expertise.
You can bounce him. He's going to take 2 damage off the Ballista in response.
Yeah, bounce all 3. Put a card into play. Or cast a card. Puts Eldrazi Sky Spawner into play. Maxwell just missing a couple points of damage there on the Ballista, but still has a great board here. As he just can reload. We see Winding Constrictor. Oh, this is even better. Walking Ballista for 1, make that 2 from the snake. And then, I like this a lot, Rishkar. That card just so good with the Constrictor.
Yeah. That's going to put these creatures out of range of getting hit by the Sky Sovereign.
So Ballista up to 4. So a 4/4, 4/5. Ballista's going to immediately shoot down both of William's creatures. And he'll pass the turn. With William at 10, yeah, he draws another Elder Deep Fiend. He might have the whole set. I think it is 4 Deep Fiends, or it's either 3. This is gross. You see him just fanning it out. Ugh.
Yeah, when you have no creatures on the battlefield, those Deep Fiends just taunt you in your hand.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this is lethal. If he kills the only creature he can kill with the Sky Sovereign is the Rishkar. Maxwell can tap 4 mana, make the Ballista a 4/4, attack for 8, and shoot the rest of the way there.
Well, the Ballista is in range of the Sky Sovereign now.
Okay, so he can kill the Ballista.
Because he took down the Sky Spawner.
All right. So it's not dead yet. He'll go to 2 from the creature lands. He's dead to an untapped land.
Well, actually, Ballista in response, and then activate the Hissing Quagmire, and then we have lethal again. Put him down to 8.
Puts him to 8. Yeah, it is lethal. If he remembers those 2 points, it's lethal. You know, chaining Elder Deep Fiends is one of the ways you steal games that is just happening in the wrong order. Our backup feature match also concluding, it was a match between the 4-color Saheeli deck from Jeffrey Ashkin and the Red-Black Zombies deck by Zan Sayed. It is Jeffrey Ashkin on 4-color that's the winner there. And he is in now kind of a dogfight for top 8. He's going to have to await breakers. He's going to be 8th or 9th, depending on how things break. For Zan, though, and Red-Black Zombies, he is going to fall 1 match short of the top 8. So Harness Lightning takes care of the snake.
And Bingham found a lethal line, pumped the blocking ballista twice. It hits for 4, moves all 4 counters. Alternatively, could have activated both Hissing Quagmires with the same mana investment.